Welcome boys and girls, Costin here with a discussion about Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal. Empire's Creative Assembly has announced the new Caffeine DLC, Bashiva and the Tiger Warriors. So this year will be the 10th anniversary of Total War Warhammer, and they begin by thanking us for our support throughout this journey. And this is going to be the first character pack. Now, I admit, I expected the Monkey King with potentially the Fire Dragon as a free Legendary Lord. The fact that they're not doing the Monkey King at the moment indicates to me that they're probably going to do the Monkey King as part of a larger Lord pack, a free Lord pack. Maybe even with Lords of the End Times, because what the leaks suggest on that is it's going to contain a Caffeine Legendary Lord. But we don't know that for certain, just keep in mind that. That's just a rumor I've heard. But anyway, we're going to get Bhashiva, the Desert Tigress, White Tiger of Xiangyang, accompanied by a deadly host of mercenary Tiger Warriors. Now, there's a lot of mention in this article, in this blog, about Xiaoming, about Xiangyang. So, is she going to start in Xiangyang? Is she going to start with that specific province? And how will that affect Xiaoming? I mean, the guy's already ridiculous as is, to be clear, if he does start there. An alternative thing is to put her in a jungle starting position, because there is some room there, but then you already have Gelt, Nakai, and Dakala in that area, so hard to say, right? But anyway, so we've been discussing bringing her to life for quite some time. So she's a new character, by the way, not just in the game, but also for Cafe in general. Then again, Creative Assembly and Games Workshop have worked hand in hand on Cafe since they were announced for Warhammer 3. They're fresh additions, as I just mentioned, not just to the game, but to an entire tabletop setting. Tigermen, Tiger Warriors. Not a surprising thing that Creative Assembly would decide to do them. And what people have mentioned is that it would make sense for CA to do a dedicated DLC for Tigerman and then something else for the Monkey King. But we'll see on that. So, the price is going to be $5, €5, £4. And what we're going to get from this is one Legendary Lord with an anti-infantry benefit, one Lord, anti-large, one Hero, a Spellcaster, 3 unique units, Dual Wielder, Hybrid, and anti-large, unique campaign feature, final quest battle, final battle, and quest battle. And then a free content is going to be a Legendary Hero. Okay, now, what I really want to know with regards to this, are they going to reward Cafe? And how is she going to function from a gameplay standpoint? Because there's mentions of mercenary stuff over here. So this is Bashiva, the Legendary Lord of Grand Cafe. Okay, so she's the head of the Tiger Court. She stands as one of the mighty lords of Xiangyang, a mercenary sovereign to whom every Tiger Warrior commander ultimately bends the knee. Now, what I want to know is whether or not Xiao Ming, who has benefits with Ogre Mercenaries as is, will he get a skill line update to actually work better? And also, the questions with Cafe, Great Bastion, and so on and so forth. Hers is only the latest chapter in the Legacy Fall are older than her name. So there's some history over here, relations with Xiao Ming, and although she swore, the White Tiger swore fealty to the Western Master, forging a bond that has endured for centuries, each new White Tiger rises to the mantle of the last, renewing ancient oaths and stepping into a legacy older than most kingdoms. No record exists how many champions have risen. What is certain, the White Tiger appears whenever the tides of chaos surge, and since the Lords of the End Times is the next big DLC, well, that makes sense. Bashiva fights exactly as the tales describe, a silent shadow that closes distance with unnerving speed before striking the prey. Is she a Cafe version of Snitch? Seriously, this kind of reminds me of that. Though she's gonna have stealth focus, she's gonna have speed, being able to ambush enemies, and they want Bashiva to feel like an apex predator who stalks the battlefield like a ghost. She isn't Frontline Tank or a flashy spellcaster, she's the quiet dread in the back of your mind. And by the time you noticed her, it's already too late. And then we have discussions on the Tiger Warriors. They were shaped by the Old Ones alongside many races, dwelling primarily in the lands known as Ind. So maybe there is a possibility that they would expand the map to add not just a new province. They could just go with one new province and put Bashiva over there, right? But yeah, they started in after Chaos swept the world and the Old Ones vanished. The Tiger Warriors were saved by their chieftain, who defied Siege and overcame the god's schemes through sheer nobility and unwavering loyalty to his people. Following this, the Highland Tribes were led by the first Tiger to fulfill the prophecy by leading them to salvation across the mountains of heaven into the western deserts and the lands of the Iron Dragon. Here they shaped a life and a legacy on their own terms. Their allegiance to Xiaoming is absolute, but there's also another older devotion to the White Tiger and their god. And so they have a dual loyalty. I'm curious what we'll see about this. And they're going to be different than what a lot of Cathayan units are currently. So Cathay has always leaned towards discipline lines and deliberate formations. So they're giving them a force built around agility, stalking, and sound in ambushes. Seriously, it really reminds me of Snitch just for Cathay in a lot of ways. Who knows on that subject? They set at a unique crossroads, and hopefully, by the way, they don't replicate Snitch in one perspective of allowing you to recruit units from the rest of the race, but just making them more expensive. That's not a great system. But anyway, they set at a unique crossroads, honoring the culture of their ancestors while embracing the rules and traditions of their new home. That duality shapes their design. Then we have Clawspeaker. Yes, Legend of Total War must be really pleased with himself because he called it correctly, like Lords of Shangyang, Clawspeaker, etc. But yeah, he's going to be a spellcaster, serve as the wizards of the Tiger Warriors, worshipping the old Indish gods. And their magic leans towards the winds of beast, channeling the raw, untamed strength of the wild. Faith also runs deep, and every one of them believes that without their god's protection, the chaos gods would rise to enslave their race once more. They move quickly, deploy forward, and slip into position just ahead of the main army thanks to Vanguard deployment. Not to fight, but to shape the battle before it begins. Okay, so that is a choice right there. And what I'm wondering about it is whether or not we will get a healer hero right here for Cathay. I mean, I imagine they will, right? They will give us a healer hero for Grand Cathay, which is something that's going to matter a great deal, but that's essentially what CA has talked about. Obviously, very limited information on this. I wonder for how long have they been working on this specific subject. So again, we're getting a hero that's a spellcaster, we're getting a lord that's anti-large on this entire subject. So limited information, but when is it going to come out? Well, this is where you can be a bit annoyed with Creative Assembly, because this will be coming out later for late spring release window for this character pack. Now, they did mention that it was the Cathayan DLC would be coming out in spring, but now it's late spring. Also, if I remember correctly, they probably should have, they initially said, I think, could be wrong, correct me if I am, but I kind of expected this announcement to come in mid-January, not mid-February. So that's a bit of a question mark on that entire subject. I mean, I certainly hope it doesn't come out in late May. That would not be a great situation, CA. But we'll find out on that entire subject. That's all I had to say. Christine signing out. Am I interested in this? Well, I guess it depends on how they do it. You know, any DLC can be great or bad. Like, it just depends what's in it. Obviously, you don't have the kind of attachment that you do to something like Nagash or Neferata, right? But at the same time, there's potential to really do a lot of things for Cafe. There's potential to really improve things from a racial perspective, the Bastion, the Compass, casualty replenishment, harmony systems, and so on and so forth. We'll find out. Stay tuned.